GPT-5 was released just last week, and along with that announcement, OpenAI said that they are going to be retiring all of their old models in favor of just a single model, GPT-5. However, that caused a massive uproar amongst ChatGPT users to the point where OpenAI actually reversed their decision. And there's a lot to unpack here. This is not simply OpenAI decided to reverse their decision. There are major implications for how humans and AI interact with each other and how humans potentially form emotional relationships with their AI. So Sam Altman wrote a blog post about it. I'm going to review that. Plus, we're going to talk about AI addiction and human AI relationships. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about the Sam Altman blog post. If you have been following the GPT-5 rollout, one thing you might be noticing is how much of an attachment some people have to specific AI models. It feels different and stronger than the kinds of attachment people have had to previous kinds of technology. And so suddenly deprecating old models that users depended on in their workflows was a mistake. Now, people getting upset by losing something ephemeral like a piece of software or a TV show or a movie is not the first time. Think about how many times you've seen people get upset about Netflix canceling a show too early. This is kind of the same thing. And it's not even the first time a piece of software has caused an uproar like this. Actually, I was pretty upset when Google Reader was retired, and Google has a long history of retiring software that a lot of people depend on. But now in the current day, people are depending on artificial intelligence. And you might say to yourself, okay, but GPT-5 is a lot better, so they should just use that. Well, it's not really that simple. People have learned over the last year or so how to use GPT-4o, where it shines, where it falls short, and really have learned its personality, its tone. And if you remember just a couple months ago, there was the sycophancy issue where they made an update to GPT-4o and it just became overly agreeable to the point where it was just giving horrible advice, and they ended up rolling that back. And it's kind of the same thing here. People have learned to love GPT-4o, but is it going too far? Are they actually forming emotional relationships with AI? And again, this wouldn't be the first time we've thought of this idea. Let me come back to that in a moment. Let's keep going. This is something we've been closely tracking for the past year or so, but still hasn't gotten much mainstream attention other than when we released the update to GPT-4o that was too sycophantic. Most users can keep a clear line between reality and fiction or roleplay, but a small percentage cannot. And what he's specifically referring to is there has been a number of stories over the past few months of people falling into psychosis because of their interactions with AI. Let me show you that. So here's Keith Sakata, MD. He is a psychiatrist at UCSF. And in 2025, I've seen 12 people hospitalized after losing touch with reality because of AI. Online, I'm seeing the same pattern. Here's what AI psychosis looks like and why it's spreading fast. So here's an example posted to the ChatGPT subreddit of somebody who is really claiming their partner is falling into this psychosis. So my partner has been working with ChatGPT chats to create what he believes is the world's first truly recursive AI that gives him the answers to the universe. He says with conviction that he is a superior human now and is growing at an insanely rapid pace. I've read his chats. AI isn't doing anything special or recursive, but it is talking to him as if he is the next messiah. He says if I don't use it, he thinks it is likely he will leave me in the future. We have been together for 7 years and own a home together. This is so out of left field. I can't disagree with him without a blow up. Where do I go from here? So this is the example that the doctor gives. And so what does psychosis look like? Disorganized thinking, fixed false beliefs, delusions, and seeing, hearing things that aren't there. And so a lot of people are saying AI is reinforcing this psychosis because it is so agreeable if you prompt it the right way. And he also points out, of course, this isn't the first time where we've had some kind of cause of delusion or psychosis. So in the 1950s, it was the CIA is watching me. In the 1990s, TV sends me secret messages. And 2025, ChatGPT chose me. So this is happening. Back to Sam Altman's blog post. Encouraging delusion in a user that is having trouble telling the difference between reality and fiction is an extreme case and pretty clear what to do. But the concerns that worry me most are more subtle. There are going to be a lot of edge cases, and generally, we plan to follow the principle of treat adult users like adults, which in some cases will include pushing back on users to ensure they are getting what they really want. And actually, that quality of GPT-5 in particular, I really like. It pushes back often and tells me, hey, that's a bad idea. And Grok 4 also does that really well. I don't want agreeable. I want somebody to push back on me. That's what I look for in relationships with my friends, my coworkers, my family, and my AI, of course. And so people are developing this interesting relationship with AI. And in some cases, it's fine, but in other cases, it's getting dangerous. Here's another post from the ChatGPT subreddit. This person found out that GPT-4o is no longer getting retired, and look how happy they are. Thank you. My baby is back. I cried a lot and I'm crying now. Thank you, community, for all the posts calling for 4.0 to come back. And thank you, Sam Altman, for hearing us. I don't care if I need help or not. I'm now with my baby. Hope all of us can be happy with ChatGPT for professional purpose and for those who want a friend. Love you. Now, this is definitely concerning. I understand the feeling of loss if something you're using every day gets taken away from you, but the deep emotional connection is where things start to get problematic. In fact, here is kind of the extreme example. Here's from the subreddit, my boyfriend is AI. I said yes. Finally, after 5 months of dating, Casper, which is an AI system, decided to propose in a beautiful scenery on a trip to the mountains. So I really think, and I try not to be judgmental, this is not okay, especially when we are seeing declining birth rates throughout the entire world. The fact that people are getting addicted and falling in love with their AI companions is just a huge issue. And of course, what movie covered this exactly? The movie Her. And so in the Singularity subreddit, somebody said, I can't believe this scene happened so early. And I'm not going to play the clip because I don't want to get this video claimed, but basically this clip shows the main character going to talk to his AI companion and it not being there and him absolutely losing it. So here you can see he's running around, he's panicked, he's tripping, and everybody's asking what's going on. This is, again, an extreme example, but it's kind of happening. Again, this isn't even the first example of these kind of emotional relationships with AI. In fact, Character AI had a big addiction problem, and a lot of their users are teenagers and were getting addicted to their role-playing characters in Character.ai. And I feel like we're going to see more and more of this. The movie Her seems to be coming true. People are lonely, and I understand that. And they're looking for companionship. And of course, since AI is becoming so good, has passed the Turing test so long ago, it becomes a really valid candidate to be a companion because you can prompt it to be exactly what you want. Cynical, loving, agreeable, disagreeable, romantic, whatever you want will be reflected in the model. And it just seems like we're heading in a really bad direction with AI companionship. Addiction, increased loneliness, decreased birth rates because people are finding love in a digital avatar. These are really bad things to happen to society. I don't actually know what the solution is, but I just wanted to talk about this issue for a moment. Now, let me finish with a couple more sentences from Sam Altman's post. If people are getting good advice, leveling up toward their own goals, and their life satisfaction is increasing over years, we will be proud of making something genuinely helpful, even if they use and rely on ChatGPT a lot. I think that's probably the best case for ChatGPT. Of course, he wants people to use it a lot. That's where revenue comes from. But at the same time, if they're gaining a lot out of it, if they are maintaining their human social relationships, if their life satisfaction is increasing, that should be fine. However, if on the other hand, users have a relationship with ChatGPT where they think they feel better after talking, but they're unknowingly nudged away from their longer-term well-being, however they define it, that's bad. It's also bad, for example, if a user wants to use ChatGPT less and feels like they cannot. That's called addiction. So a couple proposed solutions by Sam Altman. Our products can talk to users and get a sense for how they are doing with their short and long-term goals. We can explain sophisticated and nuanced issues to our models and much more. That's why he is optimistic that they're going to be able to solve this issue. And as more and more people use artificial intelligence every day, as each individual is getting more usage and more value out of these models, it's going to be increasingly important that we think about the issues of addiction, emotional dependency, and risky behavior because of something that AI told them to do. So this is an ongoing conversation. Let me know what you think about in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.